Well, hello everyone. Here to show you right here, talk about for the telephone keypad right here, and we can all see right here that yeah, I'm sure that we're familiar with like applications such as if it's Skype, and then also that there's other apps that you can try out too. But I'm sure most of us will be familiar with like the telephone touch keypad right here, and I'm sure most of us would know about to where that for how it basically works right here is that you have right here to where if you want to make international calls or maybe if you want to check the weather forecast, that there will be a way to be able to dial the numbers from the phone right here. And of course, they connect yeah, with the local operator, anything anything that based on making phone calls that require a touch tone keypad right here. And so it sure seems that way to where that whenever you're looking at a touch tone keypad a lot of times, that if it's pretty much similar, for whenever you're going to be using a calculator. And if we can all see this right here, that quite a few of these keys are labeled in alphabetical order right here. Like you said, you got over here the T, UV, and then WX, YZ right here. So yeah, for zero, and then you got the pound, and then you got the star right here. But it sure seems that way toward looking at that touchtone keypad right here, that you're likely worrying that yeah, that are you able to figure out if you're able to remember everybody's number, and especially if you're calling maybe from long distance, or maybe if you're using a different provider. And I know a lot of times that we have this messenger chat and everything, and even with the hangouts chat and everything, that we might not even need the phone numbers too much of the time, you just to be able to make the phone call. So a lot of times it's like, yeah, that if you just want to make a phone call, and if we pretty much know how that works, to where if you have any credit available on your account, and then you can go ahead and call somebody. And so yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the FaceTime, that video connection, like video calling and everything, which people might even say that the only time that you would really make a phone call just by the audio connection would maybe be advised as to where, yeah, if you're having to contact customer service or something like technical support. And almost everybody else might even say that really, if there's any technical problems with the video connection, and then you would use this option right here to contact tech support. And so I usually see that most of the time, that just to be able to get a whole tech support, that you would go ahead and use the touch tone keypad right here just to be able to get a hold of a tech supporter. And besides that there's also going to be the text chat live, and chat live with the person that you'll be able to assist you. And so yeah, that a lot of stuff that I remember that Michael, yeah, that whenever we first were first introduced to that first, if it was a Mac or a PC, your Kindle type computer, that you're probably thinking is toward that number of times that we've used the analog phones, that this is pretty much what you would see right here. You have the one, two, three, and then five, six, and eight, and then seven. Ketone. So a lot of times, people might even say that for many years, that if you were to be picking up the telephone, that this is usually what you would see right here is a telephone, a keypad right here, the touch tone keypad right here. And so it's like, yeah, that you at the payphones especially, but it sure seems that way toward that with this messenger chat and everything, that a lot of things, I'm like, yeah, that maybe one of the reasons maybe why people like it a lot is because that you don't always have to remember what the telephone number is. You can just go ahead and as long as you're yeah, as long as you're as you're connected, like you people, I think that especially like on Messenger, that you don't even have to worry about a phone number. All you gotta do is just making sure that you both are friends, making sure that you're added. It's like a phone book. It's just like a phone book, to where if you're, as long as that contact information, as long as that person's contact information is listed on your phone directory, then you can just select their name, and then you'll be able to make the phone call from there. But it's like, yeah, that if you're going to be using this for any reason at all, if anything, yeah, that to contact tech support, or if you want to maybe make a phone call, maybe to a landline or somewhere like that, maybe international calling or something like that. But But it's like, yeah, that for many years, though, it's like you usually that this is what I would usually see right here, a telephone touch, keypad right here, and you see right here, yeah, if you want to write somebody a message right here, so yeah, that for companies like Southwestern Bell and AT&T, Verizon, and you got these other telephone companies that might even say that a lot of the customers that were either making long distance calls or maybe about the fact about that they're trying to figure out, okay, how to be able to make a phone call. And so yeah, it was like that back in those days that you require a phone card especially. But talking about that with the phone service though, that if you're going to be figuring it out from your computer though, that like anybody probably say, it's real nice to have it to where you have it set like this to where you can go ahead and make a phone call while you're sitting nice and comfortable in front of your computer, and you could be playing a game while you're able to talk to a few of your loved ones, and something like that. Like anybody say, yeah, especially if you're going to be using a headset, that you would like to use something like that. And so that's why that people say is that well, really, that whenever you're trying to make a phone call though, that usually that this is what you would see right here. You have right here the 1 and 8 and 5, and so yeah, looking on your resume, looking on the phone directory, then a lot of times it's like, well, really, what's the number? And a lot of times, and I'll even tell everybody too, a lot of things for what you do have to do require you to enter a code. It's a code, not too much of a phone number, but it's a code. So a lot of times, if you're trying to, if you're trying to confirm a number or trying to connect it somehow, then a lot of times it's a code that you got to enter just to be able to confirm, the connection. And so a lot of times it's like a lot of servers that would use that, and so that's why that whenever people may wonder to where that, hey, if you're trying to if you're trying to connect, but still that it's not the phone number, it's what's asked for, it's the code. So let's just say that if the code is like maybe a 206 or something like that, and for a security code or something like that. So a lot of times, if you're trying to connect somehow, that a lot of times it's the codes. It's the codes. Not too much of phone numbers, but anybody might say too that they don't want to deal with having to dial the numbers, just because that you don't really have that video connection option on here compared to if you were to be connecting like on Hangouts and on Skype. That if you had that webcam availability to where people can actually see each other, and you're able to do so screen share, and you're able to, I'm like, so yeah, if you're able to maybe connect on three ways, something like that, on a group chat, something like that. But you have right here with and I can tell everybody here too that back whenever I was growing up, a lot of times it was like this. This is pretty much what you would see right here, this touchtone keypad right here, and it was like you just figuring it out, and you're probably like one of those twos to where that first of all, it was seemed like it was all about having to get used to putting quarters into a payphone just to be able to dial the number, and it took me a few seconds just to remember what the number was. And sometimes it's you not even have to dial an area code, but like anybody probably thinking too that yeah, just to fill out a survey, and just to be able to after you complete a call, that there's a you'll be transferred to an automated system for a survey, and then they'll ask you to use your telephone touch keypad to go ahead and fill this out right here. We probably remember. I'm like, yeah, to make a collect call or something like that, just to be able to use the telephone somehow, and just figuring out about how to be able to forward a call, or if anything transfer a call. And so a lot of those people who had jobs to where you required to use the telephone keypad right here. And so that's why that people may think as to where that back whenever you were about maybe 5 years old, that you were learning the basics about how to make a phone call. And what's one thing that you can maybe remember about making a phone call necessarily. And you're probably thinking is that, well, really, that whenever you learn how to make a phone call, though, it was like just hearing the sound of so yeah, that a lot of times it was like well, if you're going to be making a phone call, that you would actually hear, like, yeah, you would hear. So a lot of times it was like you would hear it just knowing it that that it was connecting. So yeah, other than that three-way radio or anything else that you use for quite a while, that you would use something like this. But still, though, that you have right here is a touch tone keypad right here. So I know that for many years, that like everybody else might even say too, that yeah, for many years that you use something like this, and you're probably thinking that yeah, well, speakerphone, and what year was speakerphone was first announced? And I could probably say, if anything, if it was early in 1991, whenever speakerphone was first announced, and like anybody probably say too, that speakerphone. Yeah, well, when speakerphone first came out, that a lot of people thought that that you didn't have to worry about holding the phone up to your ear, it's typical stuff like that. But now we had this video calling and all that, so it's like people might say that really that really do you really even use these options too much, or if anything, just yeah, you use this mainly if you're trying to respond to an application or directly from the email, but other than that, it's like, yeah, that, not very many people that might even use this, option too much anymore. And so you're probably thinking that for any reason at all, why you think that you want to go ahead and use it maybe 5 times a year. And like, if you got any credit on there, any Skype credit or, yeah, for any application that you're going to be using. But I can tell everybody here that, I did not always have that option to where I can connect over the computer like this. So I can tell anybody that the reason maybe why I'm still have it installed on my computer and maybe I still run it every now and then is because I did not always have that option for my home computer here. So that's why that's one of the reasons why that I still check it out and I still get a few minutes of training with it, just because that I did not always have access to this back those years ago. So it was like, yeah, well, if for any reason, if you experience any technical difficulties or something that's not working, then yeah, you can go ahead and launch this dial keypad right here to where you can make phone calls with that, and just to see how it connects and all of that. But so yeah, that's really just like it's like optional right there. But anyway, just want to show everybody here that, and just to check the weather reports, and of course, yeah, that if you're trying to take care of a bill or something like that, you would use a touch tone keypad. But we all know right here that a one right here would connect you. I'm like, yeah, zero to the operator, one to the front desk. I think a lot of times it's three to the main menu, something like that. Usually it's zero to connect to the operator. So yeah, that if you want to learn the basics about how to touch tone keypad or the dial keypad. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.